Bartholomew Zingelbald and Henry Plaschow. The Protestant missions began in 1706 with the arrival of the Danish Halle, products of a revival movement called Pietism, which began in the Lutheran Church in Germany in the last quarter of the 7th century. Zingelbald and Plaschow, who were brought to Denmark and ordained. These two missionaries reached Tranquebar, India on the 9th July 1706. Soon after they learned Portuguese because it was the common language then in use in the European trading station of South India Tamil, because it was the language of the people. The two missionaries began to produce literature in Tamil language, even though it was a laborious process making booklet by hand. They have a strong resolution that every Christian should be able to explain to people of their faith why he or she had become a follower of Jesus Christ. For a large number of Indians who were considered to be subhuman, the news of the new dignity derived from John chapter 3 verse 16 provided a power of regain of their self-confidence to break away the chains of karma samsara, cycle of rebirth based on karma, and to work for the social upward mobility, especially through their dharma palikudams, public charity schools, or orphanage, and above all through their local churches. In 1716, they founded a seminary, and Aaron, one of the students, was ordained in December 1733 as the first Indian Protestant pastor. Some significant and individual works of the Tranquebar missionaries such as Zingelbald, Plaschow, Benjamin Schulz, John Philip Fabricius, and Christian Frederick Schwarz are as given below. Remember, they are all the products of Halle University, the center of Pietism. Their common principles were charity, converts, establish schools and learning centers, and translate Bible into the language of the given communities. Bartholomew Zingelbald. He established school, translated Bible in Tamil when he was in the Danish jail. Contextualization. He learned Malabar culture and understand their practice. He said, unless you understand the religious belief of the people, gospel cannot be effective. Wrote books on genealogy of Malabar gods and Malabar heathenism for German readers. He focuses on make India church as early as possible, and to him, learning language was to sit with the people in the sand and learn alphabet by fingertip. Dialogical methods, especially to uneducated elders. Construction of local church in 1760 and was in cross shape in order to separate the caste among the believers. First to give women education, and a first one to run an industry, a paper mill, to produce paper so as to print the Bible. Now Henry Plaschow. Plaschow was not competent to learn language even though he knew Portuguese, so he was assigned to work among the Portuguese speaking who were already Christians. Worked among the mixed race people, mainly concerned about the administration. He was given a task to contact with the missionary board in Koffingen, Germany, went back to Germany in short period of time in 1711. He was the one who convinced the missions board to send much fund to Zingelbald ministry. Now Benjamin Schulz. He took over the management in 1720 and was able to direct the work in several new areas. A German missionary, who became the founder of the Lutheran Church in the city of Madras in 1720. He completed Zingalbal translation of the Bible into Tamil and also branched out into Hindustani languages. First person to translate Bible into Telugu New Testament. Sals returned home to Germany in 1743 and was succeeded by Philip Fabricius, an excellent Tamil scholar. Now, John Philip Fabricius arrived at Thankubar in 1743, and in 1750 he completed his translation of the whole Bible, and because of his ability, his translation known as Golden Translation, engaged in literary work and produced hymns and Tamil English dictionary along with the Tamil grammar in English in 1779. One of his popular translations was the Pilgrim's Progress in Tamil in 1793. He was also works among the East India Company soldiers and with the SPCK, Society for Promoting Christian Knowledge. Christian Patrick Swartz, the brightest star in the constellation of Danish Harley missionaries, because of his educational activity in his first 12 years from 1750 to 1762. Also known as a jewel of Thankubar Mission, he was so congenial, nice and good with the people in Nagapattinam, so the East India Company called him to be their chaplain. He was specialized in superintending the missionary. He had multi-dimensional activities. He went for peace mission between British and Hyder Ali, the Mysore king who joined hand with the French. SPCK adopted Christian Patrick Swartz in 1767 and served continually until death in 1798. He never forgets that he was a missionary, even though his political involvement was very influential. The Sirampur Mission. After the Battle of Plassey 1757, Calcutta emerged as an important commercial and political center. And by the end of the 18th century, it was clear the next period in the history of India was to be the British period. The British had monopolized India and do not permit missionary activities. However, there was an idea that if England was to rule India, something should be done for the spiritual welfare of the Indian people gained. Notable among them were Charles Grant, member of the Council of Bengal and afterwards a director of the company, David Brown, company's chaplain, Daniel Curry, Bishop of Madras, and others. Meanwhile, a very remarkable man had arrived in Bengal, William Carey, a self-educated country pastor who had eked out a meager stipend by teaching a village schools and working as a cobbler. Carey had been the leading spirit in the formation of the Baptist Missionary Society. It was his constant urging of the idea on his fellow ministers, and especially his sermon on Isaiah chapter 54 verse 2 to 3 with its famous 2 points: expect great things from God and attempt great things for God, which had moved a small group of them to found this society. And he himself became one of its 2 first missionaries. The other was a jealous but erratic medical doctor called John Thomas, who had been in India already. Carey, with his wife and 4 children along with his wife's sister arrived at Hogley River in November 1793. The plan was that the missionaries should, as soon as possible, earn their living. Goods had been provided, whose sale was intended to finance for the first year, but Thomas spent all the money in 2 months before any other arrangement had been made. Carey found himself and his family in a desperate plight. His wife and eldest son were down with dysentery. They had to be dependent on a kind Hindu for a dilapidated house in which to live while he sought for a livelihood. In February 1794, having obtained a lease of wasteland in Sundarbans, southwest of Calcutta, he removed and set to work clearing the jungle for cultivation. Meanwhile, George Putney offers him a post of manager in indigo factory in Madnabati, Malad district, North Bengal in June 1794. At Madnabati, they stayed 5.5 years. During that time, besides attending his indigo business, Carey learned Bengali and Sanskrit, preached to the people of the surrounding district and opened schools. In 1799, 4 families arrived at Hooghly in American ship. As they had no permission from the company, they had been advised to go straight to the Danish settlement of Sirampur, about 50 miles upstream from Calcutta. The Danish government, who had in Tranquebar a known Christian Frederick Schwarz, made them welcomes and defended them against the attempts of the British authorities to have them expelled, and soon Carey moved to Sirampur in 1800 to join them. Thus began the Sirampur mission. A large house and compound near the river were bought, and as the year passed, developed an astonishing range of activities. Death soon thinned the ranks of the newcomers, but 2 men, Joshua Marshman, a schoolmaster, and William Barr, a printer, survived to form with Carey a famous partnership known as the Sirampur Trio. Missionary activities of the Sirampur Trio. The Sirampur Trios were engaged in education, literature, Bible translation, abolition of social evil practice, social upliftment, and medical work. So now let's first see the education. Education. The Baptist missionaries led by William Carey and his close associates William Barr and Joshua Marshman were pioneers in modern and missionary education. From the very beginning, education was one of the best missionary tools. Joshua and his wife Hannah started school mainly for the children of educated classes. Schools for both boys and girls were also started, which were paying boarding schools. By the year 1818, there were 126 elementary schools in and around Sirampur. In the same year, in 1818, under the patronage support of Matthews, the Government General of India, Sirampur College was founded. It was set up as a liberal arts and science college for both Christians and non-Christians, and it includes theology departments in English and in Bengali. In the year 1827, King of Denmark granted it a charter to confer its own degrees. Literature. The first objective of Sirampur Trio was to get the Bengali Bible printed, and with much effort, the Bengali New Testament was completed in the early 1801. This work resulted with Carey's appointment as professor at Fort William College in Calcutta in 1807. His position in the college was useful as it provides him much needed income for other literary works in producing grammar books, dictionaries, and others. Later, Bengali Old Testament was printed not long after. Carey had a linguistic talent which provides an opportunity of translating the Bible in different languages. At the time of his death in 1834, 6 versions of the whole Bible were already published, and in New Testament in 23 languages, and smaller portion had been appeared in 10 languages. With the foundation of Srirampur College, the trio entered into the field of journalism. Marshman started a weekly newspaper in Bengali called Samachar Darpan, which was believed to be the first newspaper ever printed in the original language. He also published English monthly newspaper, The French of India. Now, the Bible translation as tools of evangelizing the natives. One object of William Carey was to bring out the Bible in the language of the people. He did so far the purpose of evangelization, the native. According to him, making the scripture available in the language of the converts would contribute much to the success of missionary outreach. He felt that the task of evangelization would not be completed unless the Bible made available to the member of the community. Soon after this, Carey learned numerous Indian languages at the urgency of his ministry and started the work of translating the Bible. Because of his hard work, Carey could bring out as many as 35 translations of the Bible into different Oriental languages. One could say that Carey's objective in the translation of the Bible was for the indigenization of the gospel. Response to the practice of sati. The primary concern of Carey on women was the practice of sati, widow burning. He witnesses the incident of widow burning alive aroused him to abolish the sati. In the first issue of Joshua Marshman Journal, Friends of India published an article on the issue of widow burning. The paper continues to keep up raising the voices before the public, reporting the actual as they occur. This practice reached England and protest against the sati mounted up from the home board of the East India Company. On the other hand, some of the East India Company officials who were the student of Carey at Fort William College prohibited the practice of sati in their district on their own responsibility. Social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy and a few 18 Hindus also raised their voices against the sati practice. In the meantime, in 1829, William Bentinck was the governor of the East India Company, issued his famous order prohibiting sati in all the British territories. All this outside assistance promote the work of Srirampur Mission in abolishing the practice of widow burning. Response to caste and society. The Srirampur was engaged in eradicating the evil practices of Bengali society. It was also during the time when social reformer like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, founder of Brahmo Samaj, in a few Hindu enlightened moved towards reforming the Hindu society. There was a great caste division in these Brahmins were considered as gods. Besides, there was its temple prostitutes among the Devdasi. On the other hand, the female infanticide and human sacrifices, all these social evil practices in the Indian society made Srirampur trio to bring some changes. Carey took keen interest in Indian culture and customs and was not afraid to become involved in social reform. He strongly opposed the practice of infanticide and child prostitute by joining hands with the Hindu reformers. With the help of the Lord Wellesley and other officials, the practice of female infanticide was heard no more. Even social discrimination among the Christians were also being abolished as the Brahmin boy by name Krishna Pal married Sudra girl Anunda by name. Agri-horticulture. One of Gary's main concern was in the field of agricultural and plantation. As a result of horticulture, garden was founded in 1820, which helped the people of that area a lot. It has a flower garden, greenhouse and research laboratory along with library. It has significant collection of various botanical varieties with facilities for garden and plant flower lovers. Courses on gardening and cultivation of certain species are often to the people in public from time to time. Today, a large variety of farms and medical plants are grown in the botanical garden. Medical service. William Carey and his companions, in spite of their busy activities, involved in founding a refuge hospital clinic for lepers in Calcutta. The care of those suffering from leprosy has been a special field in Christian service. This mission was a service to promote refuge for advanced cases of leprosy. They were given shelter and made comfortable. There are more contribution on the society by this ministry that has been done, like social and reform, moral reform, growth of education and women empowerment.